you know, you know what it is. Oh, my stomach is growling. I need to get something to eat. You know what it is. The last two episodes have not just been horrible to me, and I'm not saying that just because Atlanta will always have a soft spot in my heart. Atlanta has always. What did he say? Atlanta is my baby. I've all like out of all the Housewives franchises, Atlanta has always been number one for me. Um, but you know what it is. The last two episodes have. It's starting to get like New York in a way. Real Housewives of New York, where it's watchable, but you kind of have to if you're like a reviewer, a YouTuber, and you have to talk about it, you have to pay close attention so that you could possibly find something to talk about, if that makes sense. Because everything that you can watch doesn't necessarily mean that it should be reviewed or it can be reviewed. But not to toot my own horn, girl. You know, girl, I can make the best out of a situation. Okay, one thing I can do is talk. That's one thing I can do is run this mouth of mine. Anyways, the episode was all right. Girl, we just gonna talk. Yeah. Um, we're nearing the. We're almost. Y'all know we're almost done with the season, right? Like we're episode 9. I think they may have like 15 or 16 episodes. Girl, we don't have that much left. So for the girls and boys out there hoping that Phaedra gonna pop in, no. Andy already told us in an interview he had with TMZ, and I think this was last week, that Phaedra would be in 5 weeks. Girl, Phaedra literally is coming at the end of the season. And I think that Phaedra gonna help save the show. Girl, did y'all see that Real Housewives Atlanta mid-season trailer? We need to go live and talk about that. I wanted to go live tonight. I'm not gonna lie, I did, but it's not gonna happen because it's already 7 o'clock. I was over here, girl. I think I'm a fashionista. Believe it or not, I think I'm a fashionista. Girls, I was over here judging the girls down to the Met Gala from my couch. Girl, look, talk about. Okay, this is cute. Mm. Oh, I like this. Oh, okay, right. Now we Andre Leon Talley, may he rest in peace, and Anna Wintour. Anyways, um, okay, so let's just talk about the episode. So we'll start out with how it started off. Cynthia is basically going around playing private investigator. Um, we all know that the cameras went down, and this was towards the end of Portia's birthday trip. The cameras went down, and the girls were outside. Some of the girls were outside having drinks, just having a good time, kicking and laughing. And Angela was upstairs. It was Portia, Shamia. Good, we're gonna have to tug on Shamia. I know y'all go up for Shamia. I don't have no issues with Shamia. She cool, but I don't go up for Shamia like y'all go up for Shamia. Okay, but we're gonna have to tug on Shamia's girl 27 piece girl a little bit this review. Just a little. We're gonna have to do just a little shifting. Um, and Kelly, and then it was girl, and then it was Bang Bang Edie, girl. We'll get into Bang Bang also, of course. So, anyways, so Cynthia wasn't. I think Cynthia was Cynthia on the trip still. Yeah, Cynthia was upstairs asleep. So basically, everybody else was upstairs. Everybody else was upstairs either asleep, but they were not downstairs. That's what it comes down to. And Portia made the comment about, and I'm paraphrasing. Angela better watch her mouth before I sleep with Charles. So now Cynthia is trying to go around and figure out what was said, who said what, blah, blah, blah. Portia says Portia tells Cynthia that she doesn't even remember saying she will open her legs to a married man. Now, those are not her exact words, but she told Cynthia that she doesn't remember even saying that. Portia remembers saying it. Let me tell y'all something. For those who watched the Real Housewives of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, that's what it's called. Portia is Portia is not the brightest bulb in the package, but Portia has figured out how to work this platform that she has. And when she said on the Ultimate Girls Trip in the confessional, and I can't remember, of course, the exact wording, but she says, for those who watched, please, y'all, please tell the people in the comment section. Portia basically said that when you get caught up into some mess, just play dumb. That's what she said. And I said, that's what the hell I've been doing this whole time. Girl, Portia knows what she's doing. She knows what she's saying. Portia just, you know, throws her ass in a circle and it hypnotizes the people. Right? She'll flash her 112 teeth. I want Portia. This is no shade to Portia. Portia, I want you to go get those teeth fixed by Dr. Heavenly. Every time I look up, you look in your. You could tell they. I told y'all she got a new set of teeth. Girl, she has a new set of chompers. Because every time I look up, Portia is looking at it like she's still trying to get used to them. Girl, but anyway, so girl, Portia likes to play like she doesn't know what's going on, right? Whenever she gets into some mess, she does it all the. Girl, I've been told y'all this. Y'all don't like to see Portia for who she was. When Portia gets into a physical altercation with someone, which is a girl, which has been about 4 times, Portia throws her body on the ground and she starts to holler and scream like a toddler. The same thing that my nieces used to do when they were toddlers, right? Girl, Portia, she did it with Kenya. What did she do after she pulled Kenya's hair? Started hollering and screaming. What did she do after she stood over Cynthia? Girl started hollering and screaming. But what did she do when she was throwing porcelain across the room in Mexico? Girl, trying to fight Dennis and Miss Gina. Girl, throw herself on the couch. She does it all the time. So if I can act a fool, act a donkey, and then just holler and scream, right? Become the victim in a situation that I probably had a hand in creating, and then all is forgiven. But Portia definitely remembers that she said what she said about that lady's husband. Y'all gonna be shocked at what I'm about to say because it's gonna sound like I'm defending Portia. Anyways, she says she will never f anybody's husband. Girl, somebody bring the picture up. bring the picture up. Hey! Now I don't know when Portia started opening her legs to Simon. I don't know if he was technically, legally still a married man. um, but I think that a lot of people think that Portia may not be telling the truth. Fallon would have a different story. I know somebody gonna say, "Well, Fallon was opening her legs and she was a married." That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. It don't, girl. It don't. It don't. It don't. Angela basically sent a nasty text message. She basically called them some hoes. Girl, long story short, I'm paraphrasing. She basically called them some hoes with no morals. Basically, that's basically what she said. She basically called them girl. She called them some hoes with no morals. Girl, she basically called Portia, girl, while Drew was running around her talking about Latoya had the Delilah spirit running through her veins. Girl, she need to be asking her homegirl, talking to her homegirl, Miss Peach Juice. Remember Drew was telling people That Latoya, what's her name, Latoya or Latonya? Y'all can't remember the girl, the YouTuber, baby, the real pretty girl. Y'all remember her? Remember she said that Latoya had the Delilah spirit running through her blood. No, baby, that was your home girl. Anyway, um, Kelly had an event for some dogs. I don't know, girl. It was something at a park. I will give Kelly this much. Kelly gonna throw an event. Okay, Kelly gonna throw something. I will give Kelly this much. Kelly, girl, Kelly gonna throw something. Kelly has already thrown probably like 3 events this season, 3 or 4. I know she had the peace brunch. She had something before that. Did she have something before that? She did. I can't remember what it was. I know she did. Oh, she had her daughter's birthday party when she gave her the 17 bags because she turned 17 years old. I think she had something else too, and then she had the doggy event. Anyways, um, Bang Bang. Girl. For the girls who don't know who Bang Bang is Brit. Girl, we call her Bang Bang, Cleo, Edie. Okay. We call her Benadryl. We call her Bertha. We call her Brandy. Okay. We call her BB. Girl. And Pistol Girl. Shout out to Giselle. Pistol Girl. Who whips and pistols. Oh! Girl, let's just talk about her and get her out the way. Girl, I will give Bang Bang this much. Baby, when I tell Miss Thing face was painted boots at that park, I don't know who did her makeup that day. I'm not a makeup girl, so if it was a mess, I guess I would know. But it looked good to me. And I will give her this much. She's a very pretty girl without makeup on, and she has some very nice skin. She really, really does. So when she said that, girl, I'm cute without makeup on, she wasn't lying. She's a pretty girl without makeup on. But it's really the skin, girl. That's what we try to get our skin together, honey. But basically, her mother is moving out of her home, and she's moving in with Britt. Britt's story it's not that her story is all over the place. It's like it's almost like she's adding things as we go. So now her mother is moving. Her mother is selling her home to move in with Britt and her husband because she wants to start to live her life. But girl, I thought y'all also said she was moving in. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, girl, I'm not no grandparent, but girl, I thought she was moving in because y'all was about to have a baby, and I guess she was going, she was gonna be, the mama moving in. So she really, I don't know, I don't know, but she's basically moving out of the home. I will say the scene between her and because her sister, her grandmother, and her mom, they were all at the mom's house packing. And I will say that was probably the closest thing that I felt with Brit. Like, oh, she might not be that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's still a mess. You know what I was thinking? Girl, this is no shade, and this is no shade. I really think that if Bang Bang would have been on Basketball Wives, I think Bang Bang probably would have been the girl over there. I think that if Bang Bang had the pistol whip energy with the girls who throw champagne bottles across the room on the other side of town, I think that the girls would have went up for Bang Bang. I do. I do. I just don't think this is the right environment. Don't get it twisted, baby. The girls is ghetto over here too. We're just gonna call it for what it is, girl. Right? But they try to cover it up without doing all the throwing bottles across the room, running across tables. You know what I'm saying? Even though, girl, we still got Portia. She gonna fight. Um. Anyways, but yeah, she. But I will say the scene almost gave. I The scene almost gave, not to take away from, it being an emotional time, them talking about their father and their father passing away, but it almost gave like they practiced the scene prior to the cameras coming. But I'm not gonna pick. I'm not gonna pick. Portia, go back to her house. They put Portia's mother's house. No, that's Portia's house. That's Portia's house, and Portia gonna be back in it. Let me tell you something. I'm not trying to be no hater. It's gonna sound like I'm saying, listen. Portia got way more money than what I got, way more. Okay, but Portia not gonna. I think Portia. I think the house that her and Simon purchased, or Simon purchased, girl, or whatever money he used to purchase it. Okay, but I heard that house was like $7 million. Portia cannot afford no $7 million home. $7 million. Seven, girl. Not two, girl, not even three, seven, girl. So Portia gonna be back in her house, or she gonna be moving into a condo, because I don't see Portia staying in that home. Girl, Sloan texted me. Girl, they just left my apartment. My nieces came over after school. She's so funny. I'm sorry. But I don't think Portia can afford that $7 million home if it's $7 million. So I don't know how long she's gonna be able to do her mukbangs down to YouTube. Maybe that's why she started her YouTube channel. Cause Portia probably could. I bet you Portia, if Portia, people watch Portia's channel, Portia could probably pull in some tens and thousands of dollars a month. Girl, just even starting off, she already has, a following. So Portia could probably start pulling in $30,000-$40,000 right off the rip. Girl. So maybe she could. I don't know, honey. Um, but she goes back to her home, girl, her mama's house that she let her move into. Because she's talking about Dennis and Drew, how she found out that Dennis was still filming with Drew. Nobody cares. At least I don't. I don't care. Let me be very clear, okay? Let me be very, very clear. If it were me and I was about to do business with one of my friends' baby daddy, yes, 100%, ex husband, ex boyfriend, I would definitely tell my sister, girl, just FYI, I'm going to be working with James. Right? Because more than likely, especially if the relationship didn't end well, even if they have kids together, she will want to know, girl, how did you even get in contact with James? Girl, why are you still talking to James? Girl, girl, how did this even come about? When did this happen? Girl, they're gonna ask some questions. So I get it. I do. I do. But in this situation with Portia and Drew, in defense of Drew did try and get in contact with Portia. Portia kept postponing the dinner. And out of Portia's mouth, she said that the relationship was not that deep. Girl, with Drew. So if I've already tried to get in contact with you plenty of times, then you get on TV and say that the relationship with Drew ain't even that deep, then in the grand scheme of friendship, Drew really don't owe Portia shit. And we're going to take it a step further. The way that Portia moves, did she get foul in the heads up? See, Portia moves in a slimy, grimy way, but then she expects other people to do things that she would not do. So it's hard for people to say Drew is wrong, Drew should have did this, because look at the way you move, Portia. Portia does what and who she wants to do. And then she tries to throw the family thing against the wall when she wants to try to get her way with Dennis. And then Dennis sits up there and he came over to the house. And then Dennis basically tells her that when he was filming with Drew, after they had already had the conversation about him not filming with Drew, that he didn't know that they were filming. He just showed up at the studio and the cameras are already there. Dennis, you a fucking lie. You were mic'd up. Girl, that's what I be saying. I don't have any sympathy for G, not to bring G and Mia into this, but when people were defending G, G was mic'd up. I don't care what nobody say. Even when, what's the nigga name? Ink is permanent, was at the house. And Gordon acted a fool about it. I said I wasn't filming. Well, girl, I can't tell because you turned around and put a mic on your back. Dennis was mic'd up. So even if he showed up to the scene or to the studio and the cameras are there, it does not negate the fact that you turned around and let some white woman or white man put a mic on your back and you started filming. That's just what it is. And Dennis don't owe Portia a goddamn thing at this point. Portia is literally sitting there with her last name, Gubadia, still married to Simon. Then went off and had 17 weddings, 17 receptions. Girl, 37 outfit changes. Girl, she done learned and did all types of dances. Doom, 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 doom. Girl! But then has the nerve to sit there and try and dictate how Dennis should move in the name of the family. Dennis is trifling as hell. Dennis is the type of person that should not be in a relationship because Dennis just want pussy. That's what I get from Dennis. And I've said this 1,000 times, I have not seen Dennis throw Portia under the bus as it pertains to other housewives. Now, how he treated Portia when they were together was low down and dirty. That lady had just had a baby, was going through postpartum and all types of shit, right? I thought he was trifling himself for doing it to that girl. With that being said, at this point in their relationship, Dennis don't owe Portia shit. Dennis done stood up, girl, filmed your spinoff show with you, girl, set up and took pictures with your husband. You know what I'm saying? And now you trying to tell him who he can and cannot film with. And it's not like Drew and Dennis have not been working on the album. Like they literally have something that's tangible. And it's not a bullshit piece of work. Drew actually has a very good album. Is she gonna win Album of the Year for the Grammys? Absolutely not. Sure, okay. But that doesn't take away from the fact. Well, to me, it's a fact. Everybody has their own, But to me, it's a good album. I could see Drew getting a nasty BET award, NAACP. Mm-hmm. Drew might mess around and get a Urban Contemporary Grammy nomination. Ain't that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Anyways, girl, let's move on talking about Portia. I don't care. Shamia and Shadina. That's the girl, I don't want to talk. Girl, I don't even, girl, let me shut up. I'm not gonna say nothing about Shamia. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this because girl, some of y'all get mad when I talk about Shamia. Girl, I don't give a damn. I'm not changing my mind. I don't care. I don't care. All I'm gonna say is I'm gonna be done with it. Shamia already over there stressed out with 2 kids. Girl, she got a nanny, a babysitter, her sister who got lupus, her other sister and her husband, and she's still stressed out. Girl, Shamia literally has the entire village helping her with her family. Yeah, girl, she over there don't know where she going, don't know what time it is, don't know what day it is, girl. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. She already got one daughter complaining that she ain't there. There, I said it. Because did she say Shiloh? Did she say that? Not Shiloh. What's the first one? I forgot the oldest daughter. Whenever she has to go to the hospital, she says she cries and says, "Mommy, why can't you stay here?" So, girl, you already got one daughter saying your ass is not there. Then you have the other daughter who's unfortunately having health complications. And then you stressed out and crying all the time. And you got everybody helping you. You still trying to bring more kids into the situation because your husband wants a son. He wants a Prince Hakeem. Girl, the Prince of Zamunda. What was the Coming to America? Girl, I'm going to leave it alone. Let me shut up. Shout out to Shamia, though. Angela and Charles, they're working out, and she basically tells Charles, because Charles always wants to play devil's advocate. That's what she said. And in a way, it feels as though like he's defending Portia. And so she was like, "Well, since you want to defend Portia so much, the bitches out here talking about how your ass is basically community dick, and how you got a girlfriend in New York, and how you got babies running around. And since you want to defend Portia so much." Oh shit! I forgot about that part. Portia tried to make it seem as though Dennis and Drew are having a sexual relationship. She reads a text message from her phone that says, all you had to do was say yeah. Portia is doing everything in her being to change the course of the conversation to not talk about Simon. Unless they were both issued a gag order, I'm going to say it, okay? Portia is full of shit. Portia, if she wanted to talk about her marriage, she definitely could. Because I remember, girl, and I know we talked about this a few times on my channel, Portia and Simon both being down to the World Wide Web, dragging each other. Y'all don't remember Simon basically calling Portia a dummy? Y'all don't remember Portia basically talking about, girl, she was over there tugging and pulling and bopping on that flaccid dick? Girl, talking about wake up, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Girl, y'all don't remember she was doing all that? Remember she said he said she said he had erectile dysfunction? Y'all don't remember that? They were both down to the World Wide Web dragging each other. So I refuse to believe that Portia's not able to talk about her marriage as much as Simon was down to the internet. I bet you if Simon ass was damn near about to head back across the water, he got deported. Or he somewhere. He about to get deported. If Simon was still able to have access to his phone while this show was going on, I bet you Simon would still be on the internet talking cash money shit. So again, unless they were both issued some type of gag order for them not to be able to talk about their marriage, then okay, I get it. Because at that point, you can't do nothing. If the judge said you can't talk about it, then you can't. But at one point, I remember Portia and Simon going back and forth. Remember, even Kenya had made a comment at the beginning of the season about like, girl, every time I look up, girl, Simon on the internet going off about something. But here we are talking about Drew and Dennis. Now, don't get it twisted. Let me just pull on Drew's wig. Drew, the way that Drew tried to deliver information at the beginning of the season, we're not gonna play this game with the whole, oh, he's my angel, girl. He's the reason why I was able to get out of bed. Drew was trying to push this storyline that there possibly could be something there by the language that she decided to use. Ain't nobody walking around here talking about their producer is the reason why I was able to get out of bed. He's my angel. Girl, what? You know what you're doing, Drew. Yeah. Anyways, she says Drew and Dennis need to take accountability for where their relationship is. Girl, Portia is when I said Portia is psychotic, girl, baby, the one who don't never take accountability, trying to tell people they need to take accountability. Girl, you still won't even talk about how you got with that lady's husband. Did y'all hear when Bang Bang said she's putting a pause on the agency and the insurance? Girl, I thought you said that you had sold your insurance company. You remember she said that? I don't know if she said it on the show, but I know for a fact. This is not no allegedly. Girl, Britt said she sold her insurance agency. And I also thought you said you were under investigation. Well, first you said that you had lost your license. Then you said you were in investigation. Now you're saying you putting a pause on the agency. Well, girl, if you lost, like, girl, I'm so confused. Girl, Britt. um, they go to Cynthia's home because Cynthia's having a Juneteenth celebration. She usually does July the 4th, but she changed it to Juneteenth. So a prophet was there, and um, Kelly was like, "Oh, I can get my palms read, blah blah blah." Girl, even though she doesn't read palms. So Angela walks in and she was like kind of like she's energy based in a way. She walked in and girl, one of the glasses spilled over and it was like, ooh girl. They was like, ooh girl, that's that energy. I did kind of giggle at that. The food, I'm not gonna lie, baby. Cynthia had a real. I be wanting the parties to look real. Like this looked like a real party. Like it was people there. It looked like a real like gathering. It just wasn't the girls sitting around talking. Like it was actual people there. When I tell that food, oh, baby, that food, baby, girl, that food looked girl delicious. I want me a little barbecue plate right now. A little chicken. Just a couple of pieces of ribs, some ham, turkey, potato salad, barbecue baked beans, and just a few slices of bread. Mm. The woman that was there, I mean, girl, uh, remember what show was that? When the girl came, I think it was New Jersey, and I think the lady already knew what was going on with the ladies because I think Jennifer. Remember, I think Jennifer had told the lady I think she was a psychic. I think she was a psychic. I can't remember, girl. And she came in pretty much knowing information that like there's no way, girl, you told her that, and then come to find out, I think Jennifer told her. Girl, I feel like this black lady, like, girl, like even the way she was like kind of kikiing was them. It was kind of like, girl, I know, I catch up with y'all tea on the neighborhood talk, girl, like Portia now. I don't know. It was just giving. I don't know, girl. It was giving, girl. I keep up with All True Tea and the Shade Room and the Neighborhood Talk and Hollywood Unlocked and all the blogs. And I know y'all tea. Girl, I don't care. Um, and then she says, "Who owns a Porsche?" And then when Shamia said, Shamia said, he has it. He had. She was talking about um, what's the nigga name? Charles. He has his eyes on a Porsche, not Porsche, right? Girl, okay. I said, here we go. Angela and Bang Bang get into it, and here we go. Girl, she always quoting somebody. Girl, do you not read the words that are coming out of my mouth, girl? You remember that? You remember? I think what's the guy name from Rush Hour? That's what she got that from. Chris Tucker. I was about to say Julie Chan. And then Angela says the big with that big ass mouth you have. Yes, I do. And then Britt says you need to use your mouth more often. Now I don't know why Britt set herself up for this. And when Angela said, "Oh, not as much as yours with the stretch marks around it," and then Bang Bang stood up, and then Cynthia grabbed her arm. Now let me just say this: I really don't think that Bang Bang was gonna do nothing. I don't. But I do think with Cynthia feeling the need to pull her arm and sit her back down, girl, Cynthia, you felt that and did that for a reason. Girl, you need to stay in your seat and don't be standing up over nobody. Now, I will say that even though I don't think that Britt was gonna do anything, that don't mean that you need to stay your ass in your seat. Because if you stand up, I'm standing up. Okay. If you sit up, I'm sitting up. Remember at the reunion when Nene and Kia were going back and forth, and then she sat up in her seat, and then Kia sat up in her seat. Girl, if you sit up, I'm sitting up. If you stand up, I'm damn sure standing up. Ain't nobody sitting up over me. Okay. Um, and then when Angela told her, "Girl, you got miles on your mouth," I said, "Oh no!" And then she said, "Britt, you're a whore." I said, girl, when I tell you, a part of me wish that mother was there. I guarantee you, if Kenya would have been there, I think Kenya would have been the same way. Remember when Nene and Claudia got into it and Kenya was just sitting in the background with a smile on her face? Girl, Baby, when I tell you Kenya done got the party started and Angela bust down the door, girl, she said, girl, you got a lot of mouths on your mouth. She said, Britt, you are a whore. The girls don't feel sorry for Britt and what Kenya did. You could tell because now Angela is using what she knows about Britt due to Kenya doing what she did. Girl, that's what I'm saying. That's how it always works. Girl, once we know your tea, girl, we're going to use it against each other when it's time for war. So now I don't saw you sucking dick, bitch. Now everybody suck dick, but bitch, everybody ain't got no pictures floating around or no dick in their mouth either. And if you do, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. I'm not shaming nobody, but I'm just saying. On Mad Day, on Mad Day, I'm gonna talk about you having a dick in your mouth. Even though Angela probably just had her husbands and hers before she came. But that's not the point. Girl, the point is you ain't got no picture of me with my husband dick in my mouth. Okay? We got the pictures. We saw the pictures of the dicks down your throat. Okay? So we're gonna talk about that. And I'm gonna call you a whore. And then Britt says maybe you should be a whore in the bedroom. And then they keep going back and forth. And then she says the world knows I'm married. And I'm not gonna lie, Britt did get her leg back with this one. When Angela said the world knows I'm married, and then when Britt said, does the world know about that baby though? I said, I know that's right, bitch. I said, okay. I said, okay, bang, bang. I said, okay, bang, bang, bang. I said, bang, bang got her lick back. She got her lick back with that one. I said, okay. Shamia. Let me tell y'all something. So my nieces were over here. I want to pick them up from school. And so I'm at the bar and I had my AirPods on. They were watching TV and I was trying to hurry up and watch the episode and take my notes. I'm at the bar and I'm watching the show um on my iPad. I could have went to my room, but I like to be. I just want to be in the living room, you know. Anyways, so I was watching the show on my iPad, and I had my AirPods on, and so Tatum came in the kitchen was like, "Okay, Rodney, can I get an apple?" Yeah, I don't know. I could have cut stuff, even though she's 10, girl. If you cut stuff, cut it at your house, but baby, you fuck around, cut one of your fingers off over here, girl, it's gonna be my fault. So I got up and I was cutting her an apple and she was reading my notes. I got right here, Shamia Dumb. Okay? So she's reading that. She's like, Uncle Rodney, why do you have Shamia Dumb? I said, why are you reading my notes, Tatum? She was like, well, I'm just waiting on my apple. She was like, but I was just wondering why do you have Shamia Dumb? I said, because she's dumb. And she was like, this is a housewife show. I had my screen on pause. And she was like, oh, girl, I want to tell you, she thinks the housewives is absolutely stupid. Girl, she called everybody dumb. She needs to stop that shit. I told her she needs to stop that shit. Because she thinks the housewives are dumb. She doesn't understand it. She already told me. She's like, I don't understand it. All they do is cry and scream and hug each other. And then they do the same thing over. It's just dumb. Girl, she think everything dumb. Anyways, so I'm sorry. Let's get back to housewives. So I put Shamia dumb. Shamia says that if someone said my husband had a side baby, it would hurt my feelings. But ultimately, I would probably be like, we've been trying to have a baby. We've been trying to get a baby forever. Can we get the baby? I said, oh, she's a dummy. Girl, I'm telling you, Shamia just slipped up and told. I don't care what none of y'all say. Shamia just slipped up and told us that if she found out Gerald had a baby, she would eventually get over it. She sounded just like Letitia. Remember Letitia on Bell Collective talking about she would raise the baby if Glenn had an outside baby. Baby, please. Y'all strong. Y'all strong. So they start playing a game. Shamia fool. We still ain't done with Shamia though. They start playing a game, asking questions about Juneteenth. Portia answers a question and it was wrong. I forgot what the question was. And then Portia says, I ain't never been so loud and wrong in my life. When I tell you those producers played that clip of Portia talking about the slaves, was waiting on a MARTA train, girl, standing at the bus stop sucking on a lollipop. Girl. Remember when Portia said she thought that the Underground Railroad was a real train? She thought it was a subway.
It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
Remember when she said it was like 265 days in a year? Remember when she said I think she said like did she say that 6 weeks was a month? Oh girl. So Angela and Portia, they go have a conversation. Cynthia, I guess she's supposed to be big sister in charge now. So Cynthia pulls the girls to the back. So again, Angela and Portia can have a conversation. One of the things that Portia said was, "What's up with Angela? Why does she always bring up her husband to me?" Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember everything. And maybe Angela did bring up Charles first to Portia. But I remember Portia bringing up Charles when Bang Bang threatened Kenya with whips and pistols. When she said that she knew something about Charles or whatever she said to Angela at that table when they were down in the ghetto. Remember they said it was in the ghetto. I don't know where it was at. So for her to say this, again, it just goes to show that Portia will try and change the narrative. She said that it was a stupid comment. This is what she said in her confessional. This is what Portia said. It was a stupid comment. I shouldn't have made it, or maybe I should have. I was kikiing with my friends. You got Dumbo with her big ears listening to everything. Girl, how the fuck, when I tell you Portia is fucking psychotic, how the hell you tried to do a switcheroo on Angela and get mad at Angela because Angela heard you talking shit about her and her husband or saying you will fuck her husband, but now you mad at Angela because she heard you say what you said. Girl, what? I said, baby. Girl. Girl. How you mad at that lady? Because she heard you say what you said about her husband and you were talking shit about her. Right by her window. Again, when does Portia take accountability for the stuff that she says? Then she says in the confessional, I'm sorry that was inappropriate for me to be having that much fun with my friends. Girl, that's y'all girl. That's y'all girl. That's y'all girl. That's y'all girl. That I've been telling y'all about that lady for years. I've been telling you about that lady. Girl, I've been telling y'all about that lady. Now, this is what I have to say about the whole Kiki stuff. Because Shamia, this is why people always look at Shamia as Portia's lapdog. And I mean, she's pretty much confirmed that she was once upon a time. But the reason why people look at Shamia like she's dumb is because, okay, let me get comfortable. Because I want y'all to understand what I'm about to say, okay? I understand that it was a group of friends, the cameras had went down, and they were out there talking shit. We all do it. We talk shit about other people all the time, right? I understand that when they were out there having their kiki session, that was actually considered kitchen table talk. It's something that you normally wouldn't say amongst people who you don't really know. You know, when I say ignorant shit is usually like around my sister, my friends, right? So even if they say, "Girl, you know you ignorant as hell for saying that," they still, you usually say ignorant shit around people who you know. Y'all already know what kitchen table talk is. So with Portia saying that I would F her husband. And then Shamia kind of laughs at it, right? I can understand how some people could be like, well, girl, we was just out drinking, having a good time. Portia was talking shit. Girl, I kind of giggled at it and I kind of went on by my business. Because Angela felt as though with Shamia being married, she should have said something. Well, bitch, Portia married. And she still married. And she the one who made the comment. I think with the whole Kiki kitchen table talk stuff, I get what Shamia was trying to say. Like, girl, we were just out having drinks, laughing and talking shit. You trying to hold me responsible for something that Portia said. Let's talk about what I did. I get it. However, I said everything I said just to say this. However, even in a Kiki session, even in kitchen table talk, you can still be held accountable for the shit that you say. If I were over here and I was having a conversation with some of my friends and say somebody said something where I felt that it was transphobic, I would say, girl, you ignorant as fuck for saying that. You see what I'm saying? Now, because that's probably your good sister, your good brother, daddy, mama, whatever, you might not just be so quick to cut them off. Compared to if you had just met like a stranger and they said or did something you didn't like, you'd be like, baby, she ignorant. I don't even want to get to know her. So Shamia, you can still say, especially now, and this is what Shamia is getting herself into trouble with the viewers. And I don't think she should move according to the viewers, but this is why people are looking at Shamia crazy. Let me tell you why. Because now it has gotten out that your friend said that she will fuck another woman's husband. And instead of you just saying, you know what, Angela, I get it. We were out having a good time, kicking and laughing. Portia was pissed off at what you said the other night. And now that I think about it, she shouldn't have said no ignorant shit like that and I told her. That's all Shamia had to say. But Shamia don't even want to say, girl, it's sometimes you just have to bite the bullet, if that makes is it bite the bullet? Y'all know what I'm trying to say? Sometimes you just have to like stand in it. Like, okay, you know what? I told her she shouldn't have said that. I get, she was pissed off because she felt like you came at her earlier that night and she was just talking shit. And once we found out that you heard her and you felt the way about it, I told her she needs to apologize to you because that was out of order. That's all Shamia had to say. That's all Shamia. And Shamia was in a comment section. We're going to talk about Shamia in Hot Topics because Shamia was in a comment section trying to defend what she said, even to this day. So that's how I know. Well, we're going to talk about it. I got to find it. She was in the neighborhood talk comment section. Anyways, so it's just like I get it to a certain degree that we're having kitchen table talk and we having a Kiki session and we're saying stuff that we normally wouldn't say in front of other people. But even with that being said, you can still be held accountable even during kitchen table talk, even in a Kiki session, especially if the person who you're talking shit about finds out. And now they're gonna be looking at everybody. Because if you are amongst a group of people and that one person says something ignorant, whether it's racist, homophobic, transphobic, and people find out, right? People gonna start looking at everybody in a circle crazy. So in a way, don't get mad at what I'm about to say. In a way, just in order to kind of show people that you move with some type of sense of integrity and you have some type of awareness, just be like, you know what, girl? I realized what she said hurt your feelings, and she shouldn't have said no shit like that. And I told her she needs to apologize because that was out of order. That's all she had to say. That's all Shamia had to say. But it just goes to show when you look, and I'm not trying to take the blame off of Portia because Portia is a grown ass woman. But when you look at the people around Portia and the way they let Portia get away with the M word, from her mama to her sister, damn near Dennis to Shamia, y'all wonder why Portia act the way she act. And then she comes down to Bravo, and Bravo has been giving her. That's why she act the way she act, because Portia's never had to be held accountable for anything that she says, anything that she does. Like even now, Portia just sit back and just kiki and laugh like what she said wasn't that big of a deal. I'm sorry, I was having so much fun with my friends. And then when Cynthia comes in, she basically says, "Can y'all just wipe the slate clean?" And then Portia says she didn't apologize to me. And then Cynthia says, "No, you said a thing about her husband." And then Portia says, "She said something about mine. Your scamming ass husband, girl, who wearing your ass low all over the World Wide Web. I said something about your scamming ass husband, the one who called you a big ass dummy on the World Wide Web. Yes, Simon called Portia a dummy." Girl, if you don't get out my face, right then and there, girl, we would have been right back at square one. Girl, apologize. Girl, apologize to you for what? For talking about the nigga that's dragging you on the World Wide Web? Girl, get out my face. Anyways, child, I think that's it. Let me look over these notes. I write big, so I got like 10 pages of notes, but I write humongous for no reason at all. And it really wasn't a lot going on this episode. Mm. I need to hurry up because I gotta go to Ross, y'all. But it's raining outside. Let me see if it's still raining. It's been raining outside. I just heard it, but it stopped. Oh, I might have to just go to. I don't like really going out in the rain. Anyways, y'all can't drive, girl. Not y'all, but y'all. Okay. All right. Let me see. Bang bang. Portia's mother house. Shadina and Shamia. Girl, let me shut up. Did y'all see? Let me shut. Oof, girl, I was about to read it. Let me shut up. See, this is kitchen. What I'm thinking is kitchen table talk. Okay. It's ignorant as hell what I want to say. Oh, Portia has an was it an au pair? Girl, for what? I don't know. Girl, some girl, she done scooped up from Africa. I don't know what she said the girl was. The girl about to move in with Portia. Girl, I said, I guess Portia gotta go find her gotta go find her new husband. I don't know why Portia. I mean, I guess, girl. Let me stop. I don't know, girl. It is what it is. Let Portia do what she want to do. Dennis saying he wasn't filming. Drew. I ain't gonna lie, when Drew was talking about when they were talking about what Angela told Britt about it being about it being miles around her mouth, and Drew was in the confession talking about like, bitch, I was hollering. Um, bang bang. Britt, you are a whore. Send me a dumb girl. I ain't never been so wrong. I ain't never been so loud and wrong in my life. Girl. Okay, y'all. Oh, my eyes. What's wrong with my eyes? Get my eyes starting to run. Ugh. Okay. I need to blow my nose. Sorry for sniffing in y'all ear. I blew it. when I stopped the thing at one time. When I stopped the camera, I went and blew it, but girl cleared out and blew it good enough. Okay, that's it, y'all. You got Dumbo with big ear. Listen to everything. Okay. Yeah, that's it, girl. Kiki sessions, I get Kiki sessions, I get kitchen table talk, but girl, once you're found out, especially if especially if one of the people says something ignorant, girl, you gotta hold them accountable. If not, you look like you're just like kind of enabling the behavior, if that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Y'all get what a Kiki session and kitchen table talk is. But girl, when you go around here talking about you gonna fuck somebody's husband and you just laughing about it, right? And then when a person comes to you, you just kind of like, I don't want to talk about it, or Portia said it. I get that Portia said it, but bitch, I heard you laughing about it. You see what I'm saying? And all Shamir had to say was, you know what, girl, you're right. I shouldn't have been laughing, and I told Portia she shouldn't have said no shit like that. That's all Shamir had to say. Anyways, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.